We are live. We are live right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Kava Club podcast. You guys already know who I am. My name is Will. I am the host of this show. I'm super excited today. I had one of my Polynesian sisters back, Polynesian sisters all the way from the Bay Area. Also, actually, one of our close friends. I met her through, oh my God, I just forgot the Thursday meetings we always have at the ward at church. That's a sign I haven't been back at church in a while, but I'm sorry, apologize, guys. But I'm excited today. It's one of my Polynesian sisters, one of my good friends of mine, all the way from the Bay Area. She is an ambassador of Cecilia Style, so definitely check that out. But like I said, I'm excited today. Just want to say thank you so much for taking the time. I'm very grateful for this opportunity for you to join me on this show and be able to share your life story. I know a lot of my watchers, audience is excited to hear your life story. I just want to say, if everybody is watching this and tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Please show some love and support. Like and subscribe to my channel. It's really, really easy. Just like and subscribe. And everybody out there that's been showing me so much love, so much support, sending me positive messages. Thank you so much. That actually means a lot to me because that keeps me going and doing what I do. So thank you so much, everybody. Mad love and respect. But let's get back to this podcast. I'm excited for my special guest. I want to ask her to introduce herself real quick. So it's all you.
For sure. Thank you, Will. So my name is Daisy. I'm 26 years old. I am born and raised from the Bay Area.
Yay.
And I would claim home to be both East Bay and West Bay. Shout out to Oakland, California, the town, and South City. I am Tongan. I do have Fijian in me. I do have a stepdad who I have a close bond with, who's Samoan. So shout out to our Samoan people as well.
Usos.
Yeah, signs like me. I'm a Cancer, period. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Thank you so much, Daisy. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for being part of this show. I guess we'll get it started. And the very first question I'm going to ask you is, how did you grow up?
Awesome. All right. So for me, growing up, I was born under young parents. My mom was 19 and my dad was 18 when they had me.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in my childhood, it was fun, but it did include a lot of traveling back and forth from South City to Oakland, Oakland to South City. My mom is the one from South City and my dad is the one from Oakland. As I got older, eventually they did split up and both are remarried happily, and I'm happy for both of them. And it has been a blessing to gain added parents as well. My mom was remarried to a Samoan and my dad is remarried to a Tongan. I was the only child and now I'm blessed to have siblings. I'm the oldest of 5. There's 3 boys and then my baby sister after me. Growing up though, my parents were really busy in trying to support us. My mom worked about 3 to 4 jobs on her own. My dad was running the streets of Oakland. So with both of them trying to support us, there were many other hands that stepped in and to help support me and raise me. And one of them I would like to recognize would be my grandparents. I would definitely say that I'm a grandpa's girl. I say that I appreciate and I'm eternally grateful to meet all of them and grateful and adore them to this day. Specifically because my parents were again busy and I've had many hands in helping raising me. 2 people I was with majority of the time would be my grandma, which was my mom's mom, and my mom's older brother, my uncle Ipoy. Shout out to DJ Tonga Kid. Check him out on Twitch. Yeah, so I would say in life, for me, looking back at it, with the struggles that I've went through, I can honestly say I would look at my grandma more as an angel in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it wasn't for her and her wings, I possibly would have hit harder struggles. But because of her, I feel like I was always lifted and saved, basically.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, we were like two peas in a pod. I think for especially as Polynesians, we're all about family.
Mhm.
And for me and my grandma, she gave everything to me. And I'm blessed and grateful to say that I was able to give back to her by taking care of her to her last day. Um, so yeah, through school and everything, I was always with my grandma. My grandma would pick me up. Um, and I just remember my parents and my grandma installing in my mind that if I wanted something in life, I would have to work for it and work hard for it, which pushed and motivated me to want to be just an influence as a Polynesian, as a Tongan for many cultures around me. Um, Basically, I wanted to prove to people that we're not only known for sports and singing, we
Mhm.
are known for way more, much more than that. I remember going into high school my freshman year, I told myself, okay, I want to get out of my comfort zone. I want to do different. And I definitely grew up playing volleyball and basketball, which I definitely value those sports. Never in my life did I ever six, okay? Remember I was in class and I heard the speaker go off when they do announcements.
Yeah.
They were coming out with cheer tryouts. And never will did I think I'm a cheerleader. But um, I just knew that when I heard the announcements of them doing cheer tryouts, I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity to prove what I want to prove. And that is, I'm Tongan. I can do this. You do not need to be a white, blue eyed gal to be a cheerleader. You can be Tongan, you could be Samoan, you could be pink stripes, stars, polka dots. You could be anything if you put your mind into it. And I remember at cheer tryouts, I just had to be asked, why do you want to be the cheer team? And I simply told them straight up, because I want to prove to this school that you can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. And I
Yeah.
honestly, I want to say, I don't think I was a bad cheerleader, but I honestly, the reason why I got the cheer squad. And so, yeah.
Do you still have videos like we're cheering?
Oh, I have pictures too. Man.
Oh, we definitely
I,
gotta check that out. We definitely gotta check that out.
I I feel like I feel like as Polynesians, if we I feel like a lot of times possibly we are just too comfortable in our
Yeah.
comfort zone.
Yes.
And I just want to just push that and get that mindset out. If we just think of taking every opportunity that is either given to us or that we hop on ourselves, we would expand in so many ways, through success, because our people really are talented. um, I come from a family that is musically talented, and I don't sing, but my mom and her siblings, they all sing. And I'm grateful that though that's what they do, I'm able to find something that I'm good, that I feel that I'm great at by my own searching. And I just feel like for our Polynesians, especially, like, we need to get up, stop sitting around, and go after it. Just go after it all, period.
You
Yeah,
know, you know, you do know that's actually a very good topic. I definitely want to dive into.
for sure.
Um, People know me. The reason why I want to start the podcast is to create a safe place where people can be themselves. Um, and so because because at the end of the day, I want people to be happy. I want people to progress. For me, whenever I see another Polynesian doing really well, exceeding, growing, being successful, oh my God, that gives me so much gratification. And it also makes me feel proud to be Tongan.
Right.
And also inspires me because I come from humble means. My family didn't have much. I come from the struggle. I grew up in Tonga, moved here in America. But then when I see another Polynesian doing really well, it just shows me, it reveals to me that it's possible. If they
Right.
can do it, oh man, I can do it. You know,
Right.
and that's something that a narrative that I definitely want to push out there. But I do know that we are comfortable. If you're Polynesian, listen to this, you already know. You know, you know how it is. Like, we're very comfortable. We don't like change. We like to stick to what we know. And like you said, Daisy, like every day I meet so many Polynesians, so talented, so gifted, and but they're just afraid. And there's this fear that stops them.
Right.
But I do want to ask you, I'm just interested to hear your perspective and your opinion, because I do believe that a lot of the fear that we have and to put ourselves and go outside the comfort zone can be tied to our cultural, can be tied to our culture. I'll give you a perfect example. You know, something I always use in my platform. The culture, you know, we have a Polynesian culture of respect, that we're not allowed to speak up, because in our culture it is seen as disrespect. So if you challenge your parents, if you have an opinion, if you argue with them, right? Like I said, even in a healthy way, even in a respectful and a healthy way, that's still seen as disrespect. And of course, our Polynesian love, the tough love. If you talk back, talahui, you already know how that's gonna, you know how that response, you already know how that response is gonna be. And I feel like because of that cultural value and tradition of total respect, total obedience, I feel like that stops people from expressing their thoughts and expressing who they are. And if you can't be yourself, it's really, really hard to be something else, to grow to be something else, if you can't even be yourself now. Because part of success, like when you elevate yourself and to be successful, you are growing as an individual, right? But it's really, really hard to grow to be a different version, be a better version of yourself, if you can't even find solitude and peace and happiness in who you are today. And that's just my thoughts on that. I do want to ask you, because like you said, and of course, just put out there, like you doing your earrings for Cecilia Styles, right? I love that. And shout out to Cecilia Styles.
Shout out to
Also, Cecilia Styles, I wear earrings too. Just to let you know, I wear earrings too. Just to put it out there. Just to put it out there. I wear earrings too. You know, your boy got the earrings. Hey, don't judge me. Don't judge me, y'all. I love my earrings. So trying to get some free earrings. But yeah, like I feel like for me, that's one thing. And but there's more things that I have in my mind. But I want to ask you. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and I'll bring it along as we talk. In your experience, like just growing up as a Tongan woman, in the culture, what do you are there things culturally that we have, or cultural barriers? I'm just trying to articulate the best way possible. And everybody that's watching this, I'm not trying to disrespect the culture. I love my culture, Polynesian culture. I grew up in the culture. But also I'm a big advocate for growth and happiness. And for me, when it comes to our own personal happiness, when it comes to our own personal peace and our own mental well-being, in my opinion, that supersedes culture, that supersedes family. If you're in a situation or that's hurting you, if somebody is hurting you, then I believe it's absolutely necessary to do what you need to do to get out of it, to take care of yourself first, to be happy. And that's just my opinion. So I love my culture. As much as I love my culture, I do believe in happiness and taking care of yourself. So I'm asking you, I'm interested to hear you. What are things within the culture, if it's up to you, that makes us too comfortable? And also things that you feel like that it's barriers that's kind of hindering us from actually taking that step.
Definitely. Great topic, Will. I personally feel, so I was raised in a house where we are strong. It was a strong LDS background, but definitely we were Tongan. I was taught to be whakapapa around, especially my cousins that were like brothers, even to my dad. My stepdad actually specifically is from America Samoa, from Nu'uli. So him coming into my life just added on just another tab of knowing how the Samoans go around with their respect level. And I definitely was taught to not talk back, to hold my tongue. And I just want to say, Will, that, you know, yes, I do believe in being respectful. And yes, I do believe in listening. But with
Yes.
listening, I believe in listening and healthy communication. I believe
Yes.
that as I'm not a parent, but my parents teaching me, it was so important that they implemented um, clear communication with me, for me to understand and accept. And as that goes with me, re, talking back or just sharing how I feel.
Hmm.
There was a moment I'll never forget. There was a time where I felt like I was, my voice didn't count, and it actually really bothered me. It was something really super small, but I feel like, especially in our culture, for the Polynesian men, it's, again, I love our culture, but I feel like a lot of times we are, what's the word, intimidated, and
Yes.
we have to kind of like quiet and leave it alone, and that's it, right?
Hmm.
I just remember I literally told myself, I'm like, this is really bothering me. I need to talk to my mom about it. Again, it was super small. My parents and I had a little disagreement, but again, it was bothering me. And I felt like I was being, I felt like because of how I was raised to just hold my tongue back. I'm so sorry, Will.
You,
Can
you
you?
good. You,
Oh,
you're good. You're good.
um, I just felt like it would be disrespectful for me to, um, it would be disrespectful for me to not include what I felt and not tell them that it was bothering me. And so I just remember I sat my mom down. I was like, Mom, this is bothering me. And I'm, for those that are LDS, I'm pretty sure we're familiar with family home evening, family council.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell you that structure is practiced daily in my house because of the simple reason that I was like, okay, I need to toughen up and tell my mom that this is bothering me. I remember my mom called to family counseling. Remind you, it is just us three in my living room. And my mom was like, hun, Daisy has an issue and we need to listen to it. And I can't express how much that was like, um, rocks lifted up,
Yeah.
lifted shoulders, because I just felt like I couldn't open up to them. But again, with that clear communication, it solves everything. Now, I do know that there are homes where that's not practiced, and it's very unfortunate that, to know that there are homes there that won't have that blessing of parents listening to them. And all I can say is this: it's 2021, toxic out the door. Like,
Ooh,
I,
say that. Say that for
but
the fellows and people in the back.
you know, with like, even when it comes to your own blood, like, don't get me wrong, I am a family gal. I love my family. But when it comes to a point where it's all toxic, you got to cut it out, cut them out, literally. And if that even means your own, but mind you, work on it. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm just give up right away, no,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of hard work.
It's not gonna be perfect all the
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. Just like every struggle we go through, you know, something I want to remind us all is, when we go through these struggles, it's for our personal growth. It's for us to learn from. Now, if you're not learning from it, if there's no growth from both sides, cut it, cut it out. I can't express, just like you said, Will, like, happiness is and joy it for ourselves. We have to put ourselves first. And that's one of the things I want our Polynesian people to understand, is putting ourselves first. If you have a small business or just going in life in general, no more discounts. You gotta survive. And I feel like our Polynesian people kind of lose that. And that's
Yeah.
why when you had shared, I remember you and I talking, and you had shared like you don't see content for our Polynesian people. And look at you, Will, like, you are doing wonders for so many people all around the world. And I only hope that that gives hope for our Polynesian people, which I know it is. But going with the hope means to step out your comfort zone and just go for it. And if and trust and best believe that there are going to be haters, but oh well, do you, boo boo? Like, that express having haters is a great thing. Use it for your own motivation. Something my mom told me when I was little was to use my weaknesses as my strengths. And
Yeah.
let me like, amen to that. Like, that is so true. um you know, I love my parents so much, Will. I believe no kid wants their parents divorced, but I feel like because of that clear communication, because of those helping hands, because of a healthy environment, I was able to accept it, move on with my parents, and I look at everything with their doings as a blessing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
You know, and but again, it goes back to just a healthy environment. It goes with growth, it goes with commitment, it goes with consistency, and it goes just with overall healthy environment. And if you know that you're not in a healthy environment, please take yourself out of it. Take yourself out of it by doing what's best for you. Find the counsel that you need. Shoot, hit me up. I will be a great friend. I'm a, you know, like, there's so many, I know, and I believe that the world is cold. There are so many struggles out there that we are all going through. There some may be different, but at the end of the day, I do know that what choice we make is going to carry into our future. So with that being, I want our Polynesian people to understand that these choices that we make for our future is for our own. And it's so important that we make that right decision that we feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, Positive vibes only. Like, I can't express that, you know. And again, if you're not in a healthy environment, take yourself out and make it better by getting the counsel that you need. Hit me up. I'll be a great friend. Hit Will up. He's a great friend.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, sorry. That-
No, thank you, man. Thank you for sharing it. And I felt that. I felt that fire. I felt that passion. I felt that passion. And that's something that needs to be said more often. And like you said, toxicity, you
yeah,
know, and and I feel and because we're so deep into the culture, and I understand, and I understand it because there are some families that are very deep rooted. A lot of families very traditional, very strict. Um, but for me, just my observation and my own experience, where that's where the I feel like that's the challenge now we're trying to figure out is, you know, how can we still be great Polynesians and be deep rooted in the culture, but at the same time be happy and be successful. Um, and that's why I feel like a lot of people battle with, and like you said, because um, everything, like you said, everything starts with the mindset that as kids we've been told, hey, not to, you know, the reason why I have a problem with the not with not having an open communication. And if you want to jump into this, you can jump in because to everybody out there, when it comes to relationships, right? There has to be communication, has to be, right?
right.
And there has to be some kind of understanding. There has to be reciprocation from both sides. Like you said it. If there is no understanding, if there is no reciprocation, if there is no opportunity to speak, then that's what problems always arise from that. And
Right.
then, and if you're watching, if you guys, I'll give you guys a perfect example. Have you ever had been into a relationship where somebody didn't communicate with you, didn't
Right.
communicate with them? Did that drive you nuts? Right? Right?
Right.
Have you ever had somebody that you try to text, you try to communicate, they don't communicate, they're not texting back,
And
right?
I'm and then deuces.
Right? And you see this, and that's the problem. And so, and the problem that I see with the because of that, you know, that culture value of ultimate respect and ultimate obedience is that what you're really teaching kids, and I'm going deeper into this, and if you don't mind,
No worries.
um, what you're really teaching kids is whether your parent is right or wrong. What you're teaching the kids to accept it. And that, I feel like that is a very dangerous mindset to teach your kids, that no matter if something's wrong, if something's right, you have to tolerate that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of mindset is the breed for toxic relationships, abusive relationships, violence, mental
Definitely.
health, rape, molestation, because what you're teaching kids is no matter what happens to you, you know, be silent, shut up, tolerate, deal with it, because it's not in your place. And that's why I'm trying to break that mentality. And I love what you said. You have to put yourself first. If somebody or something, situation, a family, a culture is hurting you, then you have the right as a human being, as a child of God. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put you to religion.
Amen.
And this is why I would say, do you think God wants you to be unhappy? Do you think God wants you to suffer? I don't think he, even though that's part of life and that's part of the journey and the plan he has for us, but God does not want us to intentionally put ourselves in a situation and be around people that's hurting you. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm so passionate. And that's why I'm so afraid of the next generation. And if we don't make these changes, and we're literally teaching kids to accept everything, and especially women. You know, I've seen it. You're teaching women to be subservient, like to just serve your man, and whatever your husband does, whatever your man does, you have to listen to him, and then that's where I feel like a lot of toxicity happens. So that's my thoughts on that part. Like, do you have anything to add to that, or any thoughts on that?
I just want to repeat again, if it's toxic, put yourself first.
Yeah.
In every situation, literally.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. So, so for all Polynesians out there, like this, I just want to re-clarify. Look, I love my culture. We love our culture. I do believe in respect. I do believe in respecting our parents. I do believe in that value. But I also believe in open communication and making sure that there is understanding and making sure that you take care of yourself and you're not in a situation where you are in pain. Because I've been there. I know what it feels like when you don't feel like your voice is heard. I know what it feels like when you're like everything is closed and shut, and because and you don't feel like that you matter. You don't feel like you have any kind of value in this world, and you're significant. And that also ties into mental health, and we can go on later. But I do want to go into comfortable. You talked about like this, in Polynesians, we're so comfortable and we have this mindset. And I want to ask you, what is it, in your opinion, what's the root of that? Where does that come from? Why are we so comfortable? Why we don't want to try new things? I'm just interested to hear your perspective on that. Where does that come from?
So, personally, in my opinion, I believe Polynesians are so helpful. They love helping. We love helping. We will give the shirt off our back to anybody. And though that is a blessing in disguise, it can become a curse, because a lot of times, what happens when we are too kind, people take our kindness for granted. And I feel like, especially when it comes to, again, having to support ourselves, we're so giving, which again is a blessing. But a lot of times I feel like we got to remind ourselves, with this structure of us giving, we have to remind ourselves to put ourselves first and remember, what do we get back from it? Again, blessings, definitely. But, I've just seen, here's an example. I have seen Polynesian restaurants. I've seen a lot of them that are great. And what happens? They end up closing because, again, they're not, I feel it goes to not being educated in ways of mentally knowing how to do things, and mind you, I do understand that there are different generations coming as well. And that's where I feel like, again, we have to educate ourselves to know, if we're going to run a business, if we're going to support our families, we got to make sure that we're putting ourselves back again to putting ourselves first. I love that we're giving people, but again, giving too much, not getting back is a curse. You know, we still got kids to feed, and we still have our own mouth to feed, and we're not feeding ourselves if we're not being educated and making sure that we're following each step wisely. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
times I feel like Polynesians probably would. I feel like a lot of times we kind of react too fast. I think we
Yeah.
need to step back and really rethink of how we're going about things, and that goes along with planning. And I feel like a lot of times with Polynesians, when we plan, oh, that's a whole nother
Poly,
thing
poly
there.
time. Poly time.
Yeah, Will, we need to.
you
Okay,
know, you know, you know. Just before we go on, that's what we're talking about. Like that mindset. That's never like we got to get out of that mindset.
really though.
That's like we have to take time seriously because that's like how
Yeah,
that's what happens when you go to the real life and get a job.
yes,
But go ahead. I'm just gonna.
exactly. No, that's exactly how I feel. It goes with Polytime. My Polynesian peoples, I love our culture, but we need to quit that Polytime. We got to get that out. It's a new year, okay? And if we don't get that done this year, we got to get that done next year. Like, get it done now. I can't explain how important it is, how time is important. And if we're out because we're late, you done missed everything, you know? And how, again, going along with educating ourselves, like that right there, you can't. And that goes along with um like just the whole comfort zone thing. That is us being comfortable. Stop that. That's toxic. Being late all the time is toxic, guys. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm great at it. I am. I will vouch for that. I'm not perfect, but I'm great at it. And we got to get that out. We gotta stop doing the polytime thing. And going along with, again, with the comfort zone, I just feel like it's because our people are not educated. We're uneducated, and our people need to be educated to get out of our comfort zone like that. Stepping out of our comfort zone to get things done for ourselves. I can't express how much I've heard from our people. You know, I want to be the next NFL player. You know, I want to be the next great singer. And you can be, but you can't if you're continually not putting yourself first, you know? I think a lot of times too, I feel like our people, we're so good with our nima. We're so good with our hands and working, but we also got to put our minds in our knowledge to our mind as well, you know, and I'm gonna say this now, that's what's gonna get us farther, you know.
Dang, you shared some fire right there.
Well,
No, you're absolutely right. Like, man, when I see, it saddens me because, like, we're both a part of the YSA, young single adults. Um, this cultural mindset and like the poly time, right? Um, and I just see too many polys just like you said, just being lackadaisical, not taking life seriously, right? And not valuing, like you said, value, like not valuing time and not valuing out of no most important, not valuing other people's time. You know how many
right.
you know how many times when I see pollinators have events and I see the people that's organizing the event, how much time and effort they put
Agreed.
into it, and
Agreed.
then people just don't come and just don't on time and disregard all. And for me, that's why honestly, that's my the reason why I want to be on time because like for me, I'm an empathetic person. Like this person is taking their time out their day for me,
Right.
and I want to make sure that I match that and make sure they do know I appreciate their time. So I want to make sure I'm time. But it's just
Definitely.
funny how like that thought process never crosses anybody's mind. And I feel like we have to do better um, as people because like we're not really preparing our youth for the real world because in real life opportunities come and go,
Yeah.
and you don't take advantage of opportunity, then somebody else is going to take it, and in some cases that may be your only opportunity, and that's just how life works.
Exactly.
Sometimes we're given opportunity and sometimes we're not, and I feel like a lot of our kids that because we're not really pushing them and creating a mentality that they have to take things seriously, that
Right.
a lot of times when they go to the real life they can't handle the top tier jobs because it requires responsibility and obligation.
Yes.
Because they're being taught to just do those type of jobs where there is no time. Like you don't have to worry about time. You just work on your own time.
Right.
Show up to work when you want to show up.
Right. We,
Exactly. So like, man, we definitely have to get out that in that mindset. I do want to ask you, I feel like because I want to go back to what you mentioned before about the aspect of giving, because I feel like that's something that hinders us and stops us from growth. Because I remember I did a podcast with somebody and she shared this. We were talking about giving. As Polynesians, we give too much and we never learn the concept of self-love and self-priority and putting yourself first. We never learned that until we are burned out by everything, by all your obligations, all the burdens, all the things you have to carry, until we burned out, and then we go through our own self-love journey and figure it out that for ourselves. But I feel like that's something we need to teach on an earlier process. But she said that in the Polynesian culture, the definition of love in the Polynesian culture is sacrifice, which means the more you sacrifice, the more you give. That means that's their way of defining your love. So if you're willing to do everything your family asks of you, if you want to give them all your money, give them all your paycheck, whatever they ask, you give, you pay, then to them that's how they define that you are a loving daughter, you're a loving son. And the moment you say no, and the moment you put yourself first, and the moment you want to open up your own business, and you want to fulfill a dream, fulfill a goal, for your own mental health, for your own happiness, immediately they define you as selfish. Immediately they say, you're selfish, you don't care, you're greedy, you don't care about nobody else. So I feel like that concept of giving is something that we need to teach. That and there's a lot of things that tie to it. But I want to ask you is there any experiences in your life that that you had to say no to your family, that you had to say no, and you had to put yourself first? Because I really want to just kind of share some different experiences from you. But it had been a point in time, and then of course that caused a lot of conflict. But you realize, like, look, I got to do this for me. Right. And also just want to ask you, did you even know the concept of self-love and self-priority when you were a child?
Okay.
And can you talk about it? You just go ahead, talk about that. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm okay. I am blessed to say that I'm so sorry. I have not, I'm not perfect, but I definitely have a supporting family to accept my no's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really come up with, everything I wanted to put my mind to, they supported. It wasn't anything special, but I have seen it happen, and it's very unfortunate. And exactly the word selfish, you said it right on, Will. Like, it's so sad to think that someone that wants to do something for themselves, finally, that is Polynesian, that's gonna get them far, is considered to our Polynesian community as selfish, and that just goes along with the whole haters, but I mean, again, I'm just going to continue to stand by what I said. You have to put yourself first. Like, I'm going to vouch for that all the time. And we're in America, okay? In America, there's so many ways you got to find a way to live, to find your living, to find how you're going to live. I'm sorry, to find how you live in. And if you're just going to live your life sad by doing what other people tell you, like, work on it. I'm not saying, and again, to my Polynesian people, I am not saying to be disobedient by not listening to your family. What I'm saying is to
communicate.
Create a healthy environment. Talk to them. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle, but it's something that must be done. And that's something you said, Will, that stood out to me, was the whole prioritizing. Yes, we have to. And what goes along with prioritizing is putting ourselves first and being on time. And it goes with feeling productive. And I just feel like with our people, the feeling of or productivity can be lacked a lot, because something you said, Will, is just like sometimes our people get just lazy, which AKA a professional word I'm going to use is comfortable. We got to stop feeling like that and do it. It goes along with, my stepdad always taught me sacrifice brings blessings, which I do believe. But faith without works is dead. And if we have faith in ourselves, and if we're not putting faith into our dreams, into what we want to commit to, we're not going to get anywhere in life. We're not going to get anything from life. I know people say all the time, like, YOLO, you only live once. Now, I'm not saying you only live once, but I am saying to live life to the fullest. And in order to, is by doing you. Yes, I do believe that there are respect levels that must be followed, of course. But at the same time, I do believe that your voice needs to be heard. And I do believe that you can start now by creating a healthy environment. Now, if that doesn't follow, if you're not seeing any commitments returning from it, then that's when you got to finally figure something out and just be like, all right, well, I'm going to step this way while y'all go that way,
Yep. I do want to take a little bit further. I want to give you a little hot topic right now. So I hope you're ready. That's what I do on this podcast. And it's no filter. So we just talked about happiness, putting yourself first when it comes to family and culture. I do want to take a step further when it comes to church and religion. I know you're LDS, and I do know, because I've experienced this, that even church and religion has expectations of you, has responsibilities, obligations to put on you. And this can be a very difficult topic for a lot of people, because we all love God and we all appreciate God. And if you're Mormon, there's a lot of things they expect out of you as a Mormon woman and as a Mormon man. And I know there's a lot of Mormons that watch this, by the way. That's why I'm also talking it. But of course, our experiences in churches can be relatable to all churches, because every church has their own obligations and responsibility. I'm just interested to hear. I've seen my Mormon brothers and sisters that being overwhelmed with too many obligations they have to fulfill within their church, expecting of them within their calling, within everything, and just different things I just see. And they struggle, like you said, to say no, because for them, and I understand why they're coming from, because for them to say no is like you're saying no to God, right? But like you said, like they say, when it goes back to me, I believe that happiness and self-priority supersedes everything. And at the end of the day, for me, is the most important thing is my personal relationship with God, and not religion. And that's my own personal opinion. But I want to ask you, have you gone through any experience being an LDS Mormon where you had to put yourself first, your happiness first, your mental well-being first before the church's priorities? I'm just, and I know it's a hot topic, but I feel like it is very important.
So I am the Relief Society rep for my single adults in the South. And I have a lot of tasks that already come with the calling. And I am asked a lot of times, especially, so I'm also a return missionary. Shout out to FOCO. But I feel like when I came back from my mission, I felt like my ward was so excited to just throw like all of these callings for me to soak in and to help in, which I was so excited to dive in as well. Okay. But I do want to say that the term "it's okay to say no" is okay. It's okay to say no. And that goes along with duties that are asked, even if it's a simple duty that it's like, hey, can you take over the missionary calendar. Now, I'm not saying not feed the missionaries, but you already have tasks given and you are feeling overwhelmed and you say yes to that, trust and best believe you're going to feel more overwhelmed. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. And that goes with self-love and self-acceptance. It's okay to say no. I can't express that because I'm not going to lie. I have felt that. I felt like I could be Superwoman and take over it with all on my own. But come to find out, and I personally feel it was our Heavenly Father, it was God telling me, like, actually, no, you can't do it on your own. You need me, you need Christ. So back up, daughter. No, it's okay to say no, to certain things. And I know people are gonna be like, yeah, but I need the blessings. Yes, you will be blessed. It's okay to say no. It's okay, So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, just wanted to ask that because, yeah, because I feel like that, for all my, I just feel I've seen it, where and I've been, of course, I felt it too. I used to be the FHE coordinator, and and of course, man, and if you've ever done it, like if you ever done a calling for a Polynesian war, oh my God, how hard that is to organize events for Polynesians, and because you're literally gonna be doing everything on your own. And if you try to get people to help you, it's really a difficult task. So I love what you said. Like you said, that's what to ask your opinion because I felt the same way. It's okay to say it. Go ahead.
No, yeah, definitely. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to give yourself breaks. Like I just want to say that to our Polynesian people, it's okay to take a break because I feel like a lot of times taking a break is looked as a weakness. No, being lazy is a weakness. Taking a break is a blessing. Like we need to take a break in life. And if that means you just need to kind of like turn off your phone for a good 15 minutes, I've done that. It's okay to do that because we need to take care of ourselves. It goes along with mental health. And again, with my calling, that I love and adore, just like you said, Will, it comes with stress as well. I don't regret anything of my calling. I love it, but there are times where I'm like, okay, no, Daisy, you can't do it. Give someone else an assignment to receive that blessing instead of taking that all on your own since you think you're Superwoman when I'm not. In my mind, I think I am, but I'm not. I'm not, y'all.
Thank you. I do want to ask you, because I feel like this is something that I see a lot of happens, and not only, also within our church as well, because sometimes a lot of our cultural values it's tied with church, in the Polynesian community. So I do know, based on my conversation with a lot of Polynesian women, that you guys have this expectation to be perfect. If you're LDS, that's already like 100 times. And if you know it, you know that. And if you're LDS, you already know like there's this. And I feel like a lot of times, I see a lot of women and men too, and that not only with the cultural, from our Tongan culture, that we have to be perfect, you have to have this perfect image for everybody to see, but also if you layer that also with religion, women, you have to be perfect. You can't make mistakes. If you have sex before marriage, you're gonna be looked down upon. If you drink, if you smoke, you're gonna look down upon, you'll be cast out. And I see a lot of Polynesians and my friends and fellow, even friends outside the church, friends within the church, that it's life. They make mistakes, they fall, and then they can't handle that. They can't handle the pressure from their church, from their families, because they didn't fulfill this responsibility to be perfect, or they disappointed everybody, and they just struggle mentally and they struggle spiritually. They start losing their faith in God. And I've seen so many Mormons where with the whole community, because they did something in their life that was against our beliefs in the Mormon church, they push them out, not directly but indirectly, based on how they treat them. and they end up losing, they end up losing their faith and they go somewhere else. And for me, I'm all about love and understanding, and that's what I'm trying to push here, and also put out there for everybody, like we're all going to make mistakes. Perfectionism is not perfect. No one is perfect, even in the church, even our elders, even our presidency. Like we all have our moments, and we're all gonna go struggle. But that's the power of God. Is like, His salvation, that He's gonna accept us no matter what we do, because He loves us as children. So, can you talk about that? Did you ever grow up having that expectation? Because I know you grew up in the church of like you have to be perfect. Did you ever make mistakes in your life?
Oh,
And you
yeah.
started to feel like that pressure. Oh my God, I'm not living up to every expectations, not only with my family and my culture, but also my church. And I want to put out there, I have smoked, I have drank, all right. I have done things that is not a reflection of the values I was taught. And I say that with so much confidence, because if it wasn't for those mistakes, then I wouldn't have gone through that growth process that God wanted me to go through to be who I am today. So, that's why I always believe that God, everything that happens in life happens for a reason, and God always finds ways. God works in mysterious ways to redirect you, no matter what decision you make, or no matter how many times you fall. But you just gotta have that faith and believe that God got your back. And I know sometimes we may lose it. Our faith is not perfect. My faith. Look, for all my ward out there, I haven't been to church. I'll let you know, I haven't been to church in a while. I've been deactivated. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been in church in a while. So my word, I'll come back one day. Mad love to all you guys. I haven't given up, y'all. I just kind of be doing my thing right now. I've been doing my thing, and when I come back, I'm telling you, I'll come back with so much fire, with so much love. But
Yeah.
I just want to talk about this because I feel like it needs to be talked about and heard, because I know a lot of people just feeling the pressure of the world, of living to this false expectation of perfectionism that we tend to create within our community, within our families, and within our church.
Definitely. So I know I had shared in the beginning that my parents had me at a very young age. There were so many struggles that I've seen my mom, or I've heard, I'm sorry, I didn't see, but I've heard my mom have to go through words that were said to her because she was pregnant with me. Man, I do know this. I believe that there's God, and I believe that He is loving. And having to see my mom go through what she went through, but having so much faith and trust in God is it means so much to me, and has created me to be the God-fearing woman that I am today. Personally, for me, yes, there were a lot of high expectations for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys like I wasn't worried to not fulfill it. Oh yeah, I was worried of not fulfilling it because of the simple fact of, it was my parents, they wanted me to go to school, graduate from high school, go on a mission, go to college. I know that everybody has parents that want the best for them, but I do know that just as much as they want the best for us, our Heavenly Father wants the best for us as well. Now, with that being, yes, I did serve a mission, and it may look like I served it for them, but I've always was fascinated by missionaries. And if you know me, you know that I've always told people that I've always wanted to. But besides all of that, I just want to say that though I have sinned, or speaking for myself, though I have committed those sins, I do believe that we did not come here to be perfect, but to be perfected through Christ. And I would only hope for our world, if you're not LDS, either if you're LDS or not LDS, please believe in something. Believe in something to make you better. I feel like as Tongan girls, especially, we're again back to that whakapapa thing. And again, I'm not gonna lie, there are still things that I live up to being respectful to my elders, to the men of my family. But I do believe that, if you drink, if you smoke, whatever sins that you do commit, who are we to judge? That has nothing to do with me. That is between you and God, or who you believe in. And in my personal faith values, I believe that there is a maker that made us, and that is between you and the maker. Yes, I do believe that there are Mormons. I'm aware that there are LDS members that are there that, that has caused um, other members to fall away, which makes me so sad. But I do believe that there's members like myself that can help influence them to come back and remind them that the purpose of them being here is to grow. One, two, you are not perfect and we are not meant to be perfect. And I want everyone to hear that. You are not perfect and you're not meant to be perfect, but just to be perfected through Christ. And what does that mean? That means to know and accept Christ and know that he died for you. Like, he walked miles and miles and miles in your shoes and holding a cross for us, for you, for each and every one of us. There's billions of people that lived before us, and there's billions of people that are about to live after us. That I can't express how much everyone's worth is worth millions and trillions to our maker. And yes, I'm so sad that there has been times where people feel judged and all. But let me tell you, when you come around people like me, I promise you that I will remind you of how much love and worth you have. And that goes with culture and religion and all in between. Like, it's okay. Don't judge the sinner. We're all sinners. That and I know there's that saying, like, we all judge different, or we all sin differently. A sin is a sin. But for the sinner, all that we can do is just love one another. And that goes along with being there for each other. Um, in the LDS faith, we're taught that we come to this earth to learn and to grow. And what our maker needs from us is unity. And that goes along with, again, that toxic and all that stuff, work on it. And if it's not work, if you don't see anything, like Keisha Cole said, let it go, period. Yeah. I just want our people to know that, us being Polynesian, I proudly to say this, I feel like we are so blessed because we have so many people in our families that were ahead of us that worked hard for us to be where we're at right now. I had my grandparents. I was blessed to meet my grandparents that came from Tonga to America for me to live the life that I'm living now, which is such a blessing and I'm eternally grateful for. And in order for me to live that life and paying them back is by keeping that faith that I have, that's in God and in myself, putting myself first, and making sure that all four corners on my end is covered on my own, doing that myself, not someone in my ear telling me consistently, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, you know what to do. Us Polynesians, we know what to do. We know what's best for us. It's just, again, making that step, going forward. And I'm just so grateful. I'm just going to toot my horn. I'm so grateful for the gospel of the Jesus Christ. I'm so grateful to be LDS. And I'm so grateful that those who are not LDS have the faith, have faith in something. Have faith. For me, on my mission, I remember saying, like, okay, if you're not going to take my invitations, please believe in something than nothing.
Yes.
At the end of the day, again, our Heavenly Father wants us in unity. And that's unfortunately what our world is missing. And as Polynesians, like when that Toko Uso movement came along, who knew that would bring more unity between the Tongans and the Samoans, And look at now, like the Toko Usos is just like a whole nother race. There's so many half Tongans and half Samoans out there in the world that are beautiful races, and live life to the fullest. Jesus.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, return missionary. Thank you very much. Malo balanga. Thank you. Malo papika.
Yeah.
I felt that, and now also, and of course, like because of return missionary, one thing I see for a lot of return missionaries is because once you come out of your mission, they feel, out of my conversation with them, they say they just put you on a whole different pedestal,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they think you're like this, have to be this perfect person,
yeah.
and then that can be a very hard to navigate. Being on, being a return missionary. Also, and just to piggyback what you said, it's kind of one of my favorite Bible verses in the Bible, and I'm probably gonna slaughter this and paraphrase. I'm not really good when it comes to biblical verses. I don't read it that often. I should, but I'll be honest. But something that keeps me going, and I'm gonna try to say it the best way I can. I remember Jesus said something along the lines of, "I didn't come to this world for the healthy. I came to this world for the sick." So he didn't come here for the people that was already doing good spiritually. He came purposely for the fallen, for the sinners, and that's why he came. And I just wanted to throw that again, remind everybody, that's why we have the Jesus Christ, and that's why he came for us. He didn't come for the people. And if you're doing well spiritually and you're doing great, like so much love to you. Be an example for everybody.
Please teach me, because I'm
Yeah,
struggling.
being an example, great. Like we need more people like that. But if you're struggling, you're not. I just want to let you know that you're not less deserving, just like the people that are doing really well.
Amen. Will, amen. Like literally, we are not less, whatever. I know I've heard a lot of times, like people feel like, well, I'm not worth it. You are worth it.
Yes.
Just because you are sinning and how you feel does not mean Heavenly Father does not love you, does not mean that you receive any other blessings, and that goes with LDS or not. Like, again, believe in something than nothing.
Yeah. And
You're not for anything. And that goes along with receiving love from people around you. You deserve love from those around you. And if you're not getting that, I suggest you recognize it now and do something about it.
Yes. And also just want to put out there, like, please, 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 if somebody's struggling, if somebody's is struggling, don't judge them, please. Like, love them.
Amen.
Please love them. And I know our church can be judgy. Can be extremely, extremely judgmental.
Yes.
Extremely judgmental, especially the elder generation when it comes to our church. But for me, like, look, I'm not perfect. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But if I meet somebody that's not of the faith and they're not perfect, like I don't judge them. Like I will continue to support and love them. And I think one of my favorite quotes I ever heard was like, if it's not my responsibility to fix somebody else, it's my responsibility to love them as they fix themselves.
Right.
And like you said, it's like our sins and what we go through is it's between us and God.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, all you could do if somebody's struggling, the best thing you could do is just love them and appreciate them and be there for them and let them figure that out on their own with Heavenly Father. But don't judge them and push them out.
Will, you have a great point. It goes along with us bearing with one another our burdens.
Yeah.
Again, together. I just want to say judging is not in any way a Christ-like attribute. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So know that if you think you're judging, please know if you think you judging is gonna get you anywhere as far as receiving a blessing, it's not. It's not. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's not. Period. No, we need to come together and bear with one another burdens because there's no one perfect. And if you are, please call me, Instagram me. I would like to meet you because there's no one perfect here. But we do have a Savior who was perfect for us so that we can, again, live our life to the fullest. Yeah. One I was told on my mission, I remember there was a general authority that came. It was his name was Elder Cook. He's an apostle. And he had every missionary go and shake his hand. And for some reason, When I shook his hand, as I sat down, it was his time to proceed in his talk to give to us, he called my name out and asked me to stand up. And I think because my last name out of all the polys that were there was the easiest to remember, Latu. Super simple, right? I remember when he called me out, he said that he had worked with a lot of Polynesians under the LDS church. And one thing that really stood out to me, what he said was, us as Polynesians, not under these words, but he basically said, like, as Polynesians, we will always receive such rich blessings because of how our hearts, how giving our hearts are, which goes back to what we were talking about, so great that we're great giving people. But again, giving so much and not receiving anything at the end, it goes back to making sure that as you're giving, that at the end it's going to benefit you. Period. So I'm not saying for Polynesian people to not be giving. No, be a great giver, but make sure you're receiving at the end too.
Yeah.
And I want our Polynesians to be educated. Be educated. One time I heard, I'm not gonna blast her out, but she watches your podcast. When she watches this, she's gonna be like, "You're blasting me out." But
hey, whoever's that person, I love you. Okay.
I remember her saying, she was like, "Man, I want to see someone colored doing it up there, especially for Polynesians. I want to see them running up there and being so successful." And I literally told her, I was like, okay, and you can be that. You can start now. I don't know why I hear that saying from you all the time, but you're sitting back and just letting it be. No, you need to sit up and go do it, girl. Yeah. So I know you're watching this. And Will.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I want to ask you, and just kind of go off of what you just said right now. So, people who are struggling, I'm just interested to hear your own perspective on it. People who are struggling, people that doubted themselves of their worth and value. I'm just interested in your own personal experience. What do you do when you go through those moments? Because I just want to I want to empower people, but I also want to give them like tangible things that you do, so they can kind of actually do it. And I'll share mine too. But I want to ask you, when you struggle with your faith, when you struggle with yourself, when you make mistakes, when you think, like, what do you personally do to get yourself back up, to pump yourself back up? And I feel like that's one of the things I just want to put it out there, so that way people that they all struggle. A lot of times I feel like that you mentioned education, right? I know a lot of times that our Polynesian parents are not really hands-on as far as our preparation, as far as like guidance. They just let us, all they care is to go to school, do what you do, come home, do your chores, don't say anything, and then life is good. Go to church every Sunday. Like, there's not really any like one-on-one detox. Hey, okay, this is what you do in this situation. This is what you do. Okay, if you have a bad day, if you fall, you're suffering with mental health. I've never had that discussion with my own parents. Like, as Polynesians, you can probably relate. We literally had to figure things out on our own. When it comes to mental health, when it comes to sex, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to dating, when it comes to, besides culture and religion, it's probably the only two subjects that we have conversation with our parents. Topics. But besides that, we literally have to figure things out on our own. But that's why they always say, experience is the best teacher. Right. That's why, when we go through these experiences. But I prefer to educate people to avoid falling in the hole than falling in the hole.
Definitely.
So I'm just asking, what do you do when you're doubting yourself, when you start when you're doubting your own confidence, your own beauty, your own faith, your own happiness? What do you do personally to pump yourself back up and go out there again?
Okay, so I just want to say that one thing I feel like our Polynesians struggle with is pride. Yes. And like with pride, to not ask for help. So when I'm struggling,
Yes.
have help, trust and best believe I'm going to ask for help. And that's either asking a friend, my family, God Himself. Um, it's okay to ask for help, guys. Don't let pride get to you. And I feel like that goes along with the strict conversations we have at home,
Yeah.
kind of with that pride, and I'm not going to lie, a lot is asking for help. But I've learned, and I'm still learning, that it's okay to ask for help. And I'm doing so. I'm pushing myself anytime. Even if you're just at work and you're not understanding a task, it's okay to ask for help. Um, Kind of going along with being the best givers. Well, I feel like we are very stubborn in pride. Pride, ooh, eats us up as Polynesians.
Do you have any experiences you want to share?
With pride?
Yes. You were very prideful. You don't want to ask for help. You have to learn the hard way.
Yeah. Well, it goes back along to what we talked about with like those callings or just assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take everything with me on me and thinking I can do it and not asking for help, though. That was my failure. Was I was not asking for help. I was not asking. And another thing is, going to what I said before as well, I feel like we're so quick to just attack instead of really stepping back and thinking about it. I failed at that, and I did that a lot. And I just went for it without thinking or consulting with myself, consulting with who I felt I need to consult with, especially with God. And guess what he did to me? Crying. I cried, guys. I cried. I cried. I was so frustrated. But I do know that, first of all, it's okay to cry. I feel like that's one of our that we take pride in, is not to cry, to suck it up. You know, I shared before that my dad, was running the streets in Oakland, and I'm so grateful for those experiences because it definitely toughened my skin. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was bad to cry. I learned from him because I've never seen my dad cry. I never seen him cry. Even my stepdad. So when I did, when I finally witnessed them finally cry, I was like, wow, they really do. These men really do have feelings, like they cry. um, so just back to what I was saying, it led me to being frustrated and crying and just a hot mess. But what I do to help uplift me back from having those feelings is I pep talk with myself. I have a pep talk with myself. I write in my journal. I love to listen to podcasts, aka Will's podcast.
Thank you.
I love to watch YouTube, like influencers on YouTube that spreads positivity. And I talk a lot about it with my mom. I know I talk a lot about her. She's literally my best friend. And I'm just grateful for her and being understanding. And I think because she's like that with me is because she had learned, she had went through what we talked about as far as just there's one way, and that's the only way with our culture, and I feel like because she faced those struggles, she didn't want that for me. So shout out to you, Mom. I know she's gonna watch this. But yeah, I have a pep talk. I talk about it. I pray about it. I meditate. I watch things, all that great stuff, just to spread positivity, and to feel positive.
Yeah, and I think thank you for sharing that. It's okay to cry. I just want to put it out there. I'm gonna share with you guys a funny story about crying because you mentioned it. I can't cry. I've lost my inability to cry because it's a site, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why. Growing up I grew up in Tonga, so I grew up with my grandma. My grandma was very strict, tough woman, and yeah, we got disciplined for everything. She ran that like a tight ship. Shout out, and she passed away this year, but off after I missed RIP to her. But I remember, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but when Polynesian parents like discipline you, I don't know. They get mad if you cry,
Yeah.
which is so like
And so the
unpractical.
is like suck it in.
So when my grandma disciplined us, like she will actually continue it longer if you keep crying, and if you keep crying, and of course the harder you cry, the harder she's gonna hit. So if she hits you and you just take it like a G, she'll stop. Like she'll, okay, all right, you get it, you get the point, and then she actually stop it. So I realized that early as a child, oh, okay, if I stop crying, then my grandma won't discipline me as hard. So I literally had to program my mind as an early. Just like I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old. This is like really, really early. When I look back at it, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad as a kid. But I remember like I literally had to program myself. I cannot cry, and even in pain, physical pain. So because of that experience, now at this point now as an adult, I can't cry even if I wanted to, because I've conditioned my mind not to cry. So even when in moments where I should be crying, I can't show it, and I can't even show it in my face. And even though I do emotionally, I do feel a sentiment, and I do feel the emotion, but physically in my face, I can't express it because it results from my childhood. And there'd be so many times my friends would be like, dude, do you have a heart? Like, what's wrong with you? And when there's like something happening, whatever it's something happened, whether it's a movie or whatever it's even in the funeral, like I just can't. And then it's funny. I always think about that all the time. So that's a little funny story for everybody out there. that's that Polynesian love. There's that Polynesian love. That's that Polynesian love.
I feel like with Polynesian love, we always say tough love, right?
Yeah.
You know, always hear the term tough love follows, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys that I haven't lived to that, because I've always heard it's tough love, it's tough love. It's definitely something that I feel like in the long run, hopefully it'll change. But tough love, it's definitely tough love.
I feel like the only time I do cry, like no cry, but like my eye starts getting watery is humor. When I laugh a lot, but just laughing so hard, that's the only time where like I start this water in my eyes. But when it comes to like painful moments like that, nothing. Sometimes like I've literally done this before. It's kind of funny. Like I'll go splash water in my face. I just felt so awkward for not crying because everybody's crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is the time to spray my face. But that's a little funny story. And if you Polynesian, you probably know what I'm talking about. Our parents, like, you have to toughen up when they hit you, or they'll just keep hitting you. And of course, it's want to just kind of reiterate what you said. Like, it's okay to get help, y'all. And I know that's something I see so much because we have this talk on pride. It's absolutely okay to get help. It's okay to get therapy, because I think because this is what I see with Polynesian community is when you, especially when you try to get help for something when it comes to mental health, like they automatically think that something's wrong with you.
Right.
So guys, it's absolutely okay to get help. Like when you're sick, what do? You get help. Physically, emotionally, mentally, everything, spiritually, it's absolutely okay. And I just want to express that to everybody and drill that home. It's absolutely okay to get help. And I truly believe that we weren't meant to. God did not put us in our journey in life to do it alone.
Man.
Even Jesus Christ had disciples. He needed help. So, you, even us in our lives, as strong as you are, as tough as you think you are, I think nothing can hit you harder than life. So it's okay to get help, ask for help, and just anyone out there that's not receiving the help they need, or support they need, or love they need, I open up myself to you. Reach out to me. I think you said it yourself. Reach out to her, to Daisy. But you should not ever in your life feel like you have to do something alone, or you ever feel alone.
Yes.
So please know that. And I know everybody's circumstance and predicament is different, but just know that there are people as hateful and as negative and toxic the world can be. I am telling you, there are good people out there. There are loving people out there. There are understanding people out there. You just have to get outside that circle you are in. Get out of it. Get out of it and find those people, and I guarantee you will find the help that you need. Okay. I do want to talk about, I know you mentioned your friend. I want to use, it's funny, you talked about your friend that watched this, that she was guiding herself. So I just thought of an idea of a topic. So I'm glad you brought it up, because now I just thought of an idea, a topic because of that. I feel like, and I've seen it a lot, not only your friend, but I've seen it a lot with Polynesians, where they just, they don't have that belief that they could be more than who they are today. They're just stuck in that shell, that limited mindset, that they can't be anything they want to be. They can't fulfill their dreams, their passion, and purpose in life. They can't be better. And I understand there's a lot of things that come with it, especially within our culture. In my personal opinion, a lot of it comes with our that comes with just acceptance. We are taught to never express and speak our mind and be ourselves. So we're indirectly teaching kids to accept life as it is. And also we grow up with the island mentality, right? Hey, just be comfortable, just be lackadaisical, and kids wonder why they don't have the discipline and the effort to go out there and make their dreams happen. Also, I remember I had a podcast with Eli Matangi. He talked about our humble mentality as Polynesians, that we're taught to be humble. Don't ask for more. Just be humble for what you have. Be grateful for what you have. And we had a great discussion. It's great to be humble, but also let you know there's nothing wrong with wanting more out of life. There's nothing wrong with going out there, that you deserve more. And then I know sometimes when I grew up, that's what I heard every single day. Just be thankful for what you have. All right. And I remember I used to suffer with that. Like, okay, this is my life, and I'm just going to do what everybody else is doing. I shouldn't think about a higher life, a higher calling. I should think about a higher level of success, because that's not me. That's not my people. And once I got out of that mindset, then everything else changed.
Right.
So, but I feel like a lot of it, especially when it pertains to women, and I want your opinion on this. I feel like a lot of the reason why men and women, Polynesian women, have that mentality, because I do believe everything starts with the mind. If we don't if you want to change your life, change your mindset. It's because of the roles we're given within the Polynesian culture, as far as the dynamics of the Polynesian culture. Because I know women, you're taught to be a housewife, cook, clean, stay home. That's all you're taught. And if that's all you're taught, and here as a child, it's all you're going to believe you can ever be. That's why you always hear from people, it's always starts with belief. You have to have faith and confidence that you can excel in life. So to you, I want to ask you is, can you talk about what, growing up as a Tongan girl, what were you taught as far as like your role in life and your role as a woman? And as far as like, and I think you may have a different experience, because your parents were more communicative and more open with you. But I'm just interested to hear, not only from your personal experience, but also the experience from your friends that you see. But what roles were you taught as a woman? Like, this is what you need to be as a woman. This is what kind of life you need to live as a woman. This is how you need to act as a woman.
Yeah.
And not only for yourself, but also for other your friends as well. Because I feel like our gender roles can stop people from believing that they could be more than what they're taught and they're given. And if you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah. It's funny you bring this up, because I was raised with a mom that is a worker, but she's not a cook. She's not a stay-home mom. And to this day, she still magnifies her role in doing so. But I have heard often where the woman is supposed to be in the kitchen, the woman is supposed to be cleaning, this and that. And the way I just feel about it is I feel that, again, what I've said before, you can be whatever you want. Honestly, for me, there is no specific role. I believe that it should be, if anything, it should be what's the word I'm looking for? It should be both. Both should be meeting halfway. There's no,
Balanced.
yeah, like there should not just be one role for this and one role for that. I know my mom was raised with her mom being a stay home, my grandma that I took care of. I know that she was a stay home mom, also working, but my grandpa was much more the provider. But I feel like at that time it was appropriate. But this time, no. Like especially from them coming from Tonga, now me as a Tongan American, I'm sorry, but whoever, for my future husband, we gonna meet halfway. I'm gonna be in the kitchen, you gonna be in the kitchen. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, you cleaning. Like you ain't around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that that's something that must be changed. There should just like the whole entitlement. I think is what is big to me. Is just like the whole entitlement part of battle of the sexes. Like no, 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 no. It should be met both in the home should be meeting halfway and having that balance that will offer their children, their child, a better future.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Um, I want to ask you because I do know you are connected with a lot of uh, entrepreneur type of women. So can you talk about what you learned from them? Because I know you are partnered with Cecilia Styles. So just want to say that one more time, Cecilia Styles got the best earrings. Just want to say it one more time for the podcast.
Period.
Also one more time, Cecilia, I do wear earrings. Just to let you know, just put it out there. Just put it out there. But yeah, because I see that you are associating yourself with women with the entrepreneur mindset. So I love that about you. And so can you talk about that? And also just talk a little bit. Do you talk about your friend? Do you have friends that you know personally, or that they have these dreams but they just can't get over the hump of from believing that they could achieve it?
Okay.
And then also, go ahead.
Can I start with that before I lose my train of thought?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a friend who's Tongan. I'm gonna make him watch. I don't. He's not a member either.
Okay.
So watches your podcast or not, but he gonna watch it now. Recently, his phone broke. Okay, so this is an example. His phone broke, and he needs a new phone. He comes to work. He's he's actually from Antioch. He travels to SFO where he works at, and obviously you need a phone, right, for communication. Yeah. So he wants to buy a phone.
Yeah.
His mom tells him that can wait. We have to send a puha to Tonga.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
Guess who he's asking to use their phone? Me.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm kind of like, but you need a phone.
Yeah.
Like, so that right there, my lovely Polynesian Tongan brothers and sisters, don't be like that. I understand Tonga needs stuff. I've heard people different opinions as far as sending a puha to Tonga. That's just for another time to talk about. But I feel like there we go again. Teaching, like hold off. Those are things you don't hold off in. Yeah. No. And I told him, I was like, if you don't get you a phone, I'm about to buy you a phone. He's like 23 years old, about to be 24. And I'm just kind of like, no, actually the puha to Tonga can wait a little more.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, when you had said that, so that's my friend experience. Okay. For the entrepreneurship, I want to say that I do feel I love the women that I've loved everyone that I've networked with. I love Cecilia Styles. I love what she stands for. She's definitely a boss babe to me. If you shop with her, use my discount code Daisy10, period. I want to say though that I feel like in our Polynesian community, I'm gonna just talk on Tongans. Like I feel like with a woman that has all her stuff together, is looked as intimidating because they're supposed to follow, again, what we had shared, certain um criterias that is built in us. But I'm like, you know, there's a lot of women in there that are much older than me that are single, and they have it all together. A great career, being an ambassador, um, they are beautiful, but they're single because they're intimidated. They look intimidating to men, to the Tongan men.
Yeah.
Tongan brothers, stop doing that. That ain't cute. Don't do that. I just kind of like, so to me, I'm just like, okay, where do you find value in that? Like, I've had this conversation with women that are in this where they're the bet, like, she's a doctor, okay? How many Tongan doctors is there that are out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's single because it's intimidating. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Don't do that. Come on, guys. You don't want a strong, loving women that got it all together?
No,
Obviously
they
not.
no, they
You know?
want they want the subservient woman. They want the woman that listens to everything they say.
Okay. You ain't gonna hear babe. But
Yeah.
Will, I do definitely see that there are men that want that. And I mean, if the shoe fits, go for it, sis. But all I do know that there are incredible women out there that are Tongan, that want to marry a Tongan man, but they ain't hollering because they're intimidated. And I'm like, it's okay if you do yate. She's a doctor. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you're, you know, if you're just a small business owner and she's over here in the medical field doing big things. Like, it's okay. It's all right. I've had this conversation, and I'm telling you right now, it's never going to end for me to talk about, because I just feel like that's why a lot of people our age group are single, because first of all, people are scary. Okay. Tongans, I'm just going to talk about our Tongans for once. Like, as we've been talking about, I'm a single adult rep, and I'm just looking at our single adults like, what happened? Where's the connection? And it's because either, or majority of the time, I just feel like they're not interested because the woman is intimidating. The Tongan woman or someone, whatever, Polynesian woman is intimidating. And I'm like, why? Why do we have to be that criteria that you're looking for the shoe to fit?
Yeah.
Your search. I'm gonna watch this podcast. I'm gonna laugh so hard.
No, it's funny. It's funny. I've had a lot of guests on here, beautiful women on here, and we've actually had those conversations. So so there's a lot of, I'm telling you, I've had this conversation on my podcast with a lot of these women. A lot of them are models. A lot of them like these really entrepreneurs doing things, and it's funny. You have to watch a lot of these podcasts, and we have these conversations on there, and they all say the same thing. They go into relationships, and the men are intimidated by their mindset, intimidated by how they think, because they're and a lot of them, and they had conversations with the men. The men they like. They said, yeah, like. They prefer them to be quiet. They prefer them to not be. Also, the men start trying to tell them what to do in their life. Hey, I don't want you to be past outside with this past 10 o'clock or past 11 o'clock. You need to tell me wherever you're gonna go, and really being controlling.
Yes.
But it's crazy for me. I was like, but I'm telling you, like you said, these are beautiful, independent, strong, work ethic, powerful women.
Yes. They have a degree to their
name.
A
degree. Oh, they have exactly. They have a full-time job.
Yes. And I'm like, why would you not want that?
Yeah.
Because there you go with your feelings. Like,
yeah. But like I said, like we always we have to. Always comes back to the culture. That's what we've been taught as men. You know, I remember that growing up, like as a guy. I remember that's what I was looking for early in my life. I wanted a girl that's, of course, naturally as a guy, you know, I was superficial, was very, very shallow, looking for attractive a girl, but I was looking for a girl that to stay at home, listen to what I said, and let me do my thing. I remember that's what I was looking for, but now I realize as I'm older, I'm really attracted to women that really have their own mind and they have their own thoughts for themselves. They, you know, I don't have to rely. I don't have to. I can let them be themselves, and I can just focus on myself, and we can just share our life together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's where I'm at right now in my life. But it's just it's funny. I see all these Polynesian women, and that on my podcast, I talk about the same thing. Then a lot of these guys are just, and of course, you know, they bring up these guys, and then they come later. They try to come back, but they're like, nope, not. you had you had your shot. I want to ask you: have you had experience where you try to? I don't know if you're single or not, but have you ever tried to date a guy and he told you were too intimidating? Has that ever happened to you?
All the time.
Can you share? Can you share? Can you share some experiences?
That's exactly what we are for the movement, because I'm just like, I'm not trying to sound boastful, but we women are not ugly, okay?
Yeah.
So to find out that you're intimidated, just like, it just makes me so mad, because there's no reason to be, you know.
Can you talk about some? You talk about some personal experiences. You don't say names, but I feel this is fun. I want to hear. It's hella fun.
You know, okay. You know what's really annoying is when you are approached. You feel the connection, okay?
Okay. You feel it. You feel it. All right. I get it. I get it.
You know it's going somewhere. You get the number. You're texting each other. And then once you start getting to know each other, the conversation was going straight. Now it's turning left because you're intimidated, because I'm telling you like the life goals that I have, what I want to accomplish, what I have accomplished so far, where I want to be at with my future. You know what? Simple as this too. Like, I feel like as a girl, for me, speaking for myself, as being an RM, I don't. My family knows this. Like, I do not want to marry a return missionary. Yeah, I don't like.
Why? Anyway, guys, why?
Yes. Because first of all, the return missionaries now, I'm like, okay, I don't care where you serve. Nice, you serve. Like, what is that going to do for me? You know, in the scriptures they teach, in the scriptures they say, contrite spirit, broken heart with a contrite spirit. That is what I'm talking about. Bring it on, you know, because I'd rather be with somebody that is willing to work with me and work together than somebody that's filpoto and is, you know what I mean, trying to drive the way I'm not trying to go. So and unfortunately, like a lot of RMs, they kind of have that mentality where the men where they're like, well, you know, I served in blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's good for you. Like,
and you did the priesthood holder, right? Did the priesthood holder.
Holder. And like, yes, I want a worthy priesthood holder, but I want someone that's sincere about it, not someone that thinks that they can just get it away with me because you are, you know, you are. No, sorry about it. I'd rather work with somebody that we're going to work together. We're going to get this done, because that's just beautiful to me, you know? And not to say too, like, I just find it so much more attracting to work with someone than to just talk about the same thing. Like I said, like in RM, like, you want to know something? I'm gonna tell you a personal experience, and I know you. I remember I had I remember there was a time where my cousin was like, "Hey, like, um, she was going on a double date. Okay, she
Mhm.
double date. She knew who the guy was, but I did not know who the guy was. Okay, it was in Utah. So to my Utah, y'all something else. No, I'm just kidding. I just remember when I showed up to the date that
Mhm.
he said he was he wasn't ugly, nor do I I know that physical appearance is a plus, but he wasn't ugly. But this was what turned out ugly to me. He asked me where I served. I told him where I served, Colorado Fort Collins mission, and he told me that he served in Hungary. Hungary, that's how you say it.
Yeah, Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, that's what's up. That's cool. You know.
yeah.
Then he had the nerve to say, yeah, you know, I was called there because I stay hungry. What does that What does that mean, Will? Exactly. This is where the podcast is turning, y'all.
Oh,
I
yo, what?
agree. So I asked him, I said, what does that mean?
Elaborate, please.
I was like, what does that mean? He was like, oh, and had the nerve to flex. Okay. First of all, flex. You was not strong. I know you watched this podcast. And let me tell you, Will, it was so bad. I called my dad to pick me up. That's how bad it was. I was like, no, I was so mad. I was like, did you really just set this up? For real?
Oh my God.
So yeah, sorry that my experience to my Polynesian men, Tongan, Samoan, don't be intimidated. We don't bite. We just love to strive for success. And for me, speaking for myself, I would love to be successful with the partner. And if you feel like you have a lot of baggage for me to behold, bring it. We Tongan women ain't buff for free. We carry it all, period. Bring it on.
I love it. I love it. Oh man, this is what the Gobble Club podcast is all about, y'all. All about. This is all about. So, I want to also ask you, do you because since we're talking about dating, I just want to focus on this subject. Do you also hear a lot of Mormon girls like, okay, they only want to date within the Mormon, like Mormon?
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you this.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you go. Let do your thing. Do your thing.
To my sisters out there, I agree. Standards, definitely have your standards. But I feel like not having an open minded on things is what's gonna lead you to nothing. So to say, mind you, I come from my dad's mom is a convert. She's the only LDS. And as we all know, like the fahu in the Tongan culture is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, my grandma's the fahu, okay? She's the only girl. She has three brothers, come from a strong Catholic background. And when she became LDS, they disowned her.
Wow.
That card went out the window. I mean, like that sister card went out the window. They were so frustrated with her. And my grandpa, I remember growing up when he was around, like he knew that he was going to marry someone that was not of the faith, but he knew that he was going to make a change. And I remember him saying that. And he did that with my grandma. So for me, personally, like I said, I'd rather work on something than nothing. And so my girls out there, don't be closed-minded, That's all part of missionary work, right? Like do your missionary, flirt to convert.
Oh, oh, never heard that one before.
You
Flirt to
ask,
convert.
and thou shall receive. So girls, don't be closed-minded, flirt to convert, bring them all under Christ.
That's gonna be a new hashtag. There's gonna be everybody. There's gonna be everybody's bio. Flirt to convert. All right. So okay. I know we had a I know man, I love this topic because I feel like definitely there are a lot of people that definitely need to hear this. But I know we had some fun, but I want to go kind of go deeper into it. So I know you work with the YSA, you work with a lot of young single adults, you work with a lot of youth. What is the hardest thing now? Based on your experience and based on what you see, what you hear from people, why is it so hard now to date and to find a partner within our generation? And I just want to open this topic because I feel like because dating today in our culture, everything, social media, everything,
Right.
it's a challenge. It's a
Yeah,
challenge.
definitely.
And I feel like I remember I had a podcast with I forgot who it was, but she said that the reason why it's really, really hard to find somebody to work with you in today's age is because there's so much options now. That if they not nobody wants to work on anything no more. Nobody wants to build anything no more.
Yes.
Because we have so many options and we're talking to so many people. Social media has created a platform where we can talk to 20 girls, 10 girls, 10 guys, 20 guys all at once at the same time. So our attention is never focused on the individual person. Our commitment is never focused on the individual person because it's already spread out with 10 people already. So that way that if they're not feeling you, next,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and you guys watching, listening, you already know how it is. And if you're if you're an old school person, if you're old school, you have the old school love, like you, and you want you like you don't feel comfortable talking to many people. You just want one person. That can that can be
Right.
really be hard for you in today's age because most people are not really talking to one single person. But there are some good people out there, and that's one of the talks I have. A lot of people on my podcast, that's one thing they always say. I was born in the wrong generation. I was born in the
Yeah.
wrong time. I'm all
Yes.
so yeah, I do want to talk about that, and I just want to hear your perspective. But also, I know you work in the YSA, so you hear. And also, I want everybody to find love, man. I want people to find love.
Right.
I want all of you to find love. I want everybody
Agree.
to find love, and my YSA, shout out to y'all. Y'all need some love too, man.
Definitely.
But I was interested to hear, like, what are the
Yeah.
conversations that you hear, that why some girls and guys are having a hard time right now, and I'm right now trying to connect with somebody and find somebody.
Yeah. Honestly, back to what we've been talking about, intimidation and
Mm,
commitment. I
yeah.
feel like generation has no clue of what commitment is.
Mm-hmm.
Said there's so many platforms here, and I feel like with the many platforms that there are, it just goes with society. And I feel like society is a grasp onto folks our age and creates something in their mind where they think that this is love, what they're searching for when it's not. Um, and I just feel like again we're just losing our fingers off of the touch of commitment. Commitment is so important, and I just feel like no one's committed right now. I feel like a lot of people are either still, want to be mingling around, um, or like I hear a lot often nowadays people being cheated on, which is very unfortunate. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, it makes me really hear that, but it is reality, and it just goes again with the whole commitment. Um, and another thing too, I just feel like a lot of times people jump into a relationship not having that self-love, not loving themselves, and
Not
expect
healing, not go through the healing.
yes, and they just expect to receive that healing and that love from their partner when you might just get a whole replay of what you just went through because you didn't heal or love yourself first, receive that healing for yourself. And uh you know I feel like nowadays, especially back to people feeling intimidated, the game is whack. Like I need our I need our men out there It's okay to ask for their number, you know? Stop sliding in the DMs. Like, don't be scary. That's what I
Yeah.
feel. I feel scary. Don't be scared. Like, you know, and if there was a girl that was tripping, like, tell her I said she can get it. Like, stop ruining it for the rest of us. But yeah, that's definitely some of my pointers. And in the obviously relating it to the LDS faith, you know, we're taught to be married into the temple. And I honestly feel like people and again, that is one of my goals. You know, I want to be married into the temple, and I do know that for some others it may not be, which is it. You know, it is what it is. It's okay, but I do know this though. Like, if you're not willing to, again, if you're not willing to work on anything, well, what will you get out of it? You know, like, I just feel like people are so quick to shut things down because of them being scared or just accepting the truth out of things. And commitment for one of them, you know, like, you can't just commit to one person and just be happy with that individual. Okay, and if you're not, then don't send different signs,
Yeah.
different signals, you know, to the other individual. um and then I also feel like, you know, I feel it's very common to see people, or it's less common to see individuals our age who don't have kids, like myself. um and so I feel like there are single parents who are not married, but they're co-parenting, but they're not with that individual, but they want to be with the individual, but they're scared because they have kids. Let me tell you this. I come again from parents who are split. They had a child and they found someone that they are happily married to. It is possible. Love is possible if you just search for it in the right places, you know, and you go in with the right intentions. And again, that's with making sure you know that what you want is commitment follows it, understanding too, because I feel like a lot of times we're not understanding, and it just goes along with judging too. Like, we need to stop that judging crap. You know, like for me, like I said before, like, you do not have to serve a mission for me to marry you, like, or to be with me, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, you don't have to. And I feel like a lot of times, like, we feel lalo on ourselves. You know, we put ourselves down. Again, going back to like the whole, you know, people who are out there have kids, you know, you never know. You'll never know unless you try. And if it doesn't work out, who cares? There's more fishes. Go for it. Fish here, fish there, fish there. You know, just make sure you have the right intention, and you know, everything is out of every move that you make is through you being genuine. You know, because no one wants that fake love. Like Drake said, fake love out of here, please. So yeah.
So also want to throw it out there for all the guys out there watching. A lot of the women that are on my podcast are single. I just want to throw it out there. So, and they just, and like I said, if you're not intimidated, I'm telling you, go check out my podcast. There's a lot of single women on my podcast, and they're looking just for somebody that's willing to just come and build something with them. That's all they care about, you know. So just had to put it out there. No, I feel like I want to share something just to kind of just to carry off of what you said. And I feel like this is one of our, I guess this is one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of young people do. And then of course, if you're Mormon, I see this a lot also within the Mormon church, is that we try to look for somebody. We try to look for somebody that's worth it. Like we have all these qualities, expectations that we want out of a person. And I always hear this a lot with a lot of people. You know, I want to find the perfect man, the perfect woman, the perfect missionary, the perfect return missionary. And we are more focused on what we want from another person instead of working on ourselves to make sure that we become a person of worth. And that's something I remember somebody shared that in one of their talks. It was a couple that got married and they spoke within our church in our ward. And he said, you know what? He said his biggest mistake he was looking for a person that was worthy. He said, once I became worthy myself, that's when I was able to attract the right individual. So I know a lot of times that we have these, especially when we're younger, we have all these qualities. I want a man that a lot of us, we want a finished product. A lot of people, we want a finished product.
Yes.
We want a woman that has everything. We want a man that has everything, and we want perfection. We want perfection. We want this finished product. But like we mentioned before, we have everything in life is not perfect, and you have to work on things. Relationships aren't even perfect.
Right.
So that's why you have to have an open mind and understanding and communication, because sometimes you might meet a guy and you may not see eye to eye at the beginning, but if you work on it, if you give it a chance and commit, right? But most of us, we just want to get swept under. We want somebody to come and sweep you off your feet and ride into the sunset and perfect. Has everything, has a car, has a house, and has a full-time job. So I'm just saying is like, guys, like, just work on yourself, work on yourself, make sure you're good mentally, emotionally, spiritually, make sure you're happy, make sure you're doing really well. And then by being yourself and being the right person for you, you're going to attract the person that's going to be right for you. But a lot of times we seek these people, these expectations, but and some people get into deep relationship with them. Some people actually marry them. But then when everything's settled down and they realize, oh, wait, we don't even really see eye to eye on certain things. We don't even have the same values. But he does, he has a job, he has a house, or he has all these, even the women, like men and women do this all the time. I used to do that all the time when I was younger. Like I had all these criteria of what I thought that was the type of woman I should be with. And then sadly for a lot of those women, and if you're watching this, I have nothing but love for you. But we realized we weren't connected mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or just like our chemistry wasn't there.
Yes.
But I was more focused on the outside. And I guess we're both focused on the outside.
Definitely.
I was like, oh, wow. And then after into it, I was like, oh, like, this is not. Yeah,
it's
because
not
like you said, like you have to have like some, I don't know if you noticed, some people now can't even carry a conversation.
Agree, especially face to face.
Yeah. Texting is cool, but then you meet them in real life, you have a real thoughtful conversation, and they can't even carry it. And
right.
I guess that's like one of the negative things of social media is like we're losing our I forgot what's the word for it. I guess we're losing our social skills.
Yes. Yes. And that exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on.
So so just want to put out there, guys, like just make sure you're a worthy person. Yes. And like I said, like you don't always have to. If you find somebody that just finished product and everything, great. Hey, great for you. But I'm telling you, like, don't judge people based on who you meet. Don't judge them when you meet them today, because you don't know who they're gonna be tomorrow. Definitely. Okay, so I know you did mention the problems of cheating.
Yes.
All right, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, because I had a podcast and we were talking about it. One thing I know about Polynesian women, Polynesian women are loyal. Polynesian women are committed and very loyal. And of course, I mean, I know there's some hiccups here and there. Where nothing's perfect, but I do see a lot of Polynesian sisters, my friends, Polynesian women, they stay in relationships where, and of course, we live in a culture now, it's kind of sad today, where cheating has become something that people already expect is going to happen. I've seen girls like, really like say things like that. Oh yeah, I mean, it's gonna, he's gonna cheat. I mean, if he cheats, I mean, it's gonna happen anyway. So like, so it's already expected out of the relationship in the beginning. It's kind of sad. That's where our culture is at now. But what do you think? Like, why do you feel like a lot of Polynesian women like stay in relationships that's not really healthy?
I personally feel it's because they're scared.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, it goes back to that self-love. There's no self-love for themselves. They feel like they're not going to find anybody. Full of doubt. I feel like they're, it's just they're filled with fear. And it's so unfortunate because there is a lot of women out there that are feeling like that. And I know that me saying this is one thing, but I know that it is being lived. But like for me, I cannot tolerate disrespect like that. I cannot tolerate disrespect and disrespecting me. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
But there are women that think that that's okay, or think that they're gonna lose everything if they lose him. You know, like there's so many predictions of it, but I do know that all in all, that is not a healthy relationship. And if you are in that relationship, I really, really hope, sister, that one day you'll find that you deserve better. And I mean, if anything, if you want it to work out, hopefully it works out, but for the better, not staying in that type of scarce trauma. But yeah, like I just, it makes me so sad to see women mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically abused in relationships like that. And sometimes I just feel like women just feel like they're ugly, because I've seen relationships where he has filled her head up like, you're ugly, you're not, no one's ever gonna want you. And so they just feel like, well, no one's gonna want me. So if
You
I
put up
leave,
with it. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm stuck with him. Like, no, no, sis. You don't, you deserve better, and you are not stuck to anybody unless it is your husbando that you are in a healthy relationship with, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and I wish all gal I remember in sometime last year in December, the church came out with like the service, Christmas services initiative to light the world. And one of them was to like basically learn and donate, if you can, to like a facility of some sort. So I found one here in the Bay Area regarding women of, or two of them. One of them was women of rape, and
Hmm.
the other one was of women of like just basically mental abuse. And I remember it was virtually, where I was able to read about it and see what they offer and all that stuff. And it blew my mind how much women are in there. And but I'm grateful that they're searching the help that they need. So if you are in that cause, please get the help that you need. Do not stay in that. That is toxic and that is not healthy for you.
Yeah. And I think you said something I want to, for all the Polynesians out there, and anybody who's watching, it doesn't matter who you are. That's something that you have to start drilling into your mind, that you always, always deserve better.
Definitely.
You need to make that a belief. You need to make that foundation core of who you are. There is always somebody out there that will always treat you the way you deserve. And so many times, depending on your culture, depending on how you were brought up, depending on your dynamics of your household, I know a lot of times people grow up in broken homes, so they see a toxic love between their parents, and they think that's what love is. And when they go out there, look for a man, look for a relationship. But I just want to put out there, there's always somebody out there that will treat you with the love you deserve. And I know I want to tie it back to, remember you said your parents had to separate and find their own love. Um,
Yes.
I wanted to say this. This is my opinion, and you can jump into this if you want. And a lot of this happens to a lot of Polynesians. Just because you have a kid with somebody does not mean you have to marry them. If you have a kid, but if you don't love them, do what's best for you. And I see a lot of girls and guys do this because a lot of Polynesians do get married. I do have babies early, and because of the culture and because of the elders, they tell them, hey, because you got pregnant with this person, they force them to get married, and they end up having a toxic type of love. And but who suffers is the kid, because they grow up seeing their parents
Yes.
fighting, bickering,
Yes.
abusing each other.
Yes.
Um, so it's better off to leave that person, even leave that person and go find somebody
Yeah.
outside of it that may not be the biological father, but is going to love you and appreciate and be that father figure or the mother figure, if you're a man, for your child. So that way
Right.
they see a healthy type of love. I want to put out there. What do you think about that? I just want to
Oh,
ask you.
oh, I 100% agree with you. Um, I am so, like I shared, I'm so grateful for my parents to make for the decision that they've made and the spouses that they chose. And I can't I can't explain enough how important it is to understand the term. It all starts at home. If home
Yes.
right, everything else won't be either, you know? And I'm grateful that my parents, if anything, their divorce has made my life so much uh, uplifting and easier. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
no one wants a parent split. Yes, it's going to be hard to have to figure out which child's going to be with who for Christmas and Thanksgiving. But I'd rather have to go through that than having to constantly hear the yelling, the arguments, the nagging, because then again, what is that going to create for me? That's going to create a way for me to think that that's what love is when it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. And um, I love my parents so much to let them do what they need to do. And in all honesty, this is like the most healthiest of ever of our relationships. Like it's so cool to see my stepmom and my mom just call each other whenever and talk, you know. And when it comes to gatherings for myself, they come together, they pull through together. And just like you said, Will, like um you don't have to. And I really suggest you, like, if you are, you know, in a relationship where it's toxic, but your partner wants to get married for the sake of the kid, let me tell you, listen to my advice, don't do it. You are only causing trauma for your child. And I don't care how old the kid is, especially if they're little, they feel it. They
Hmm.
know, they know, and they feel the emotions. They know who their parents are, and they know when something's wrong. And let me tell you, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all, raising a child in the home. So, if anything, please listen to Will and I and don't do that. You know, create a healthy atmosphere for yourself, for your kids, for the future. And you never know unless you do it. And you know, I feel like my parents, I can't say that they didn't try. I know that they did, but they figured out that this was the best, and it was the best for me, and it was the best for them. And I will always be forever grateful for their decision of what they did.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's one of my favorite quotes, by the way. Everything that's, I know that's, we teach at the Mormon church, but everything starts at home. It's absolutely right.
Yes.
And honestly, that's one of the main reasons why, I have my podcast, because I want people to speak up and heal and be happy, because like I said, that's one of the things, like, there are a lot of broken people out there.
Right.
And the sad thing is, these broken people are gonna be broken parents, are gonna be broken fathers, are gonna be broken. And like I said, pain is generational, y'all. Like, if you're not happy, you're gonna pass that on,
Yeah.
to your child. All right,
Yes.
right. So that's why for me, that's why I started this podcast. I want people to be open and come on here, speak their truth, let go of the things that's holding them back, let go of their trauma, of their past, be confident in themselves, grow, elevate, reinvent themselves. But so, because, like, I don't want kids, man. Like, for me, it's just like, I don't want people to suffer. And then when you see young kids suffer for something that's not really has nothing to do with them,
Right.
um, and that's why, for me, that was one of the main reasons that allowed me to um, start my self love journey and be happy. When I started going with my self love journey, and that's actually the next topic we're gonna go into. But when I started my self love journey and self prioritizing myself and putting myself first, that was very difficult for my family, because I grew up in the Tongan culture, and there was a lot of negativity. There was a lot of um, behind the scenes criticism from me, people talking behind my back. One of the things that people used to say, I hear a lot, was like, "Tamsi yo ta offer, tamsi ta offer," and I'm just like, man, that for me, I guess I don't cry. So that's a stone. I'm a stone cold. My emotionally, like, I'm really, really. confident person, but those were things that really, really hit me deep.
Yeah.
Because I know
bet.
what I did. I know what I've given to my family. I know what I've done, and there's so many things I've done for my family. And for me, I'm a very private person. Like if I do something for people, it would just be between me and them.
Right.
I'm not the type of person who put it out there. Nobody will ever know. When they said that, it was just sad for me because I wanted, I love my family so much. I want to do so much for my family. I wanted to do anything for my family. But it was just sad for me that I grew up my whole life trying to help my family, do things for my family. But the moment I decided for the first time in my life to do something for me, and the very people I thought that would support me, because I've been supporting them, didn't support me. Um, but then I remember I thought one day, you know what? At the end of the day, I gotta do me. I gotta be happy. I gotta do what's gonna be good for me, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be a broken father.
Yes.
I don't want to have. I know I don't want that. I don't want to have. I don't want to be a broken father. I don't want to have kids, and because I know deep down that I'm gonna give that. It's gonna be something that's gonna be generational, and that's why we have all these things within our culture, within our family dynamic of Polynesians. A lot of the root issues that we go through as Polynesians comes from our parents never solving their issues in their life. So these curses, the generational curses and things keep happening over and over. And like you said, in relationships, people don't go through that healing process. People never go through that self-love process. So, and that's the next thing I want to go into. I want to focus on is can you talk about your self-love journey? And then you get also tied into body positivity. I know that's something that you're really, really passionate about as Polynesian women. So can you talk about the very beginning of when you started on your self-love journey? And also, can you talk about what happened? What happened for you? What was the event that you had to suffer through to finally put you in that journey? Because if you go through your self-love journey, we always find out about that journey when we go through pain and struggle. Right. So can you talk about the beginning, what happened to you, and then why you started it, and then just talk about your whole journey, what you've learned, what you did, your own experience, and of course, you also talk about body positivity as well, and being a beautiful Polynesian woman yourself. So can you talk about that? Yeah.
Definitely. I guess you can say my journey just started. I've always been, grew up, always been on the plus size, and I just always hated the words that were used against plus size women that I would see through magazines, TV, when MTV Cribs was around back.
Yep.
BET, I remember just hearing just the words that were used, fat, this and that. And I knew right there and then that I wanted to make sure I made my own statement as a plus size woman. So carrying on through school, you get teased at and whatever. Words hurt, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just that type of person. But I do know there was a time I've always danced, and I remember in high school, I was trying out for the dance squad. This is before joining the cheer team. Again, the whole cheerleading was a part of the move of proving my point that plus size women can do it. For dance squad, I knew that I knew I enjoyed dancing, but I definitely noticed like I was the only big girl there. And I feel like when people see big people, it's like an automatic, like, oh, they're slow or they're not able, it won't last.
Yeah.
And so I just remember I took those words, and again, going back to what my mom taught me, using my weaknesses as my strength. Every opportunity that I put out there to make myself known, I remembered the criticism, the terrible feelings that I felt, and took it with me and applied it. And yes, I shocked them, and I'm still going to shock people because it does not matter what size you are. Now, yes, I do believe in health. I'm all about the health as well. But at the same time, you should not shame somebody. You should not shame somebody for how they look. you know, and that just goes along with the body positivity. Especially now, I feel like the whole plastic surgery phase, and it, you know, if people are about that, that's you. But I just want our, especially our Tongan people, to our community, Polynesian community, our Tongan people to understand that that's not real. That is not real. That is not real at all. Your natural beauty is where the beauty is. And
Mhm.
if no one can accept you for who you are, they do not deserve your time. They do not deserve your love. They do not deserve your attention. Everything. They do not deserve it. I'm not going to sit here and tell people, yeah, you know, I'm all about body positivity, but then I'm over there looking up, you know, um, body surgical things to make my body different for society. That's where you got me messed up. I come as I am. Either you like it or not, and if you don't, then keep it moving.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially as Tongan women, I want the younger generation to know how beautiful they are with black hair and brown skin. You know, I want them to know how beautiful they are when they perform, how beautiful it is to be in, to live the culture. You know, like I know there a lot of us women had our time to talunga. If you still do it to this day, awesome. Either way, you knew the feeling when you performed, you know? That's the beauty of the culture. Don't let any of these distractions of society distract you thinking that that's lame, or you're not beautiful, or because you're a size this and you're not a size small, you know, you're not going to get a man. That's bull crap. That is bull crap to me. Um, Body positivity is everything. And I feel like our women has to be constantly reminded of how beautiful and loving they are, because there's a huge lack of it from themselves and from personal, you know, from either the upbringing or from relationships they've been in the past, you know. And it's, I just want to remind them that they are beautiful. Like, I know I keep relating this podcast to songs because I love music,
It's all good.
but India Ari says she's not my hair. I am not my hair. And let me tell you, like, to me, telling me that, like, what you think, that what you see and what you think I am is not what I am. I am what I am. I am this hair because I own it, not because what you think I do with it, or how I wear it, you know.
Hmm.
And I want, uh, I, like my baby sister, she's 2 years old. I am so scared of her future, and just going, I just want, I want her to live her childhood. I want her to live her childhood as being a child. I don't want her to grow up too fast. I want her to grow at her own pace, and I want her to grow up knowing that she is loved. She needs to love herself, to know herself. Like, I think that's a lot of the, going back to self-reflection, self-acceptance. Like, must accept ourselves for who we are. And I feel like once you get to that step of accepting yourself, everything else should come as a breeze, um, going forward.
Yeah.
So, love yourself, ladies and men. Love yourself. Don't beat yourself up at all. Don't do that.
You know, thank you for sharing that. And I love the song references, by the way. That's tight. Um, yeah, and like I said, you know, everybody out there that's watching, you have to understand that, you know, Polynesians, we're built different. We have to, like we talk about self acceptance. Like, we are built different. There's something called genetics, where there's nothing you can do. You know, of course, can we be healthier? Of course. Can we take ourselves a lot better? Of course. Can we make sure we take care of the foods, and make sure what we allow into our body, make sure things are, it's healthy things, not things that's gonna hurt us. Of course, you know.
Right.
Uh, but your bodies will all Polynesian bodies will always be Polynesian bodies, and that's just the thing. So you have to start learning and accept that. Um, and I feel like something that we definitely need to stop doing, and I see this a lot within our culture, is like, we'll openly bash kids. about their body. I don't know if has that ever happened to you? Went to like a family reunion and an auntie sees you and just tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
how you know how big you are and
Oh, yes. And it's so annoying. Like, I've heard they're like, oh, you're not, or when they complain you're not married. And
yeah.
then, well, then they think the reason why you're not married
That's because
is
of
their reason. Like,
yeah. And
I'm sorry, no, you're
you
so lucky you're not, I'm not about to slap you. Because that's,
yeah.
you know,
And come and play. And I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to degrade anybody, but it's always the people that say that. But like, look at you.
no, exactly. So that's exactly what it is. It's always the people that have so much to say, but then it's like, okay, but did you look at yourself?
You're not
Did you,
married.
yeah, exactly. Or it's the divorce did you go through? Like, I'm sorry, I can't get there. You know what? Okay, but daddies do like, don't get on me. I cannot stand it at all.
I know. I see that all the time. I'm like, yo, why can't we just uplift each other? Like, why can't we
Right.
just support each other? Like,
Exactly.
why do we always like a competition or I don't
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, come on, y'all. We gotta do better, y'all. If you're listening, we gotta do
Right.
better. And sometimes you just gotta clap back, y'all. It's okay. Clap back.
No, sometimes they deserve it. If not sometimes, but time they deserve it. Sometimes, some people you just gotta put them in their place.
Yeah. I mean, I always preach be the bigger person, walk away.
Right.
Don't avoid negativity, toxicity. But sometimes you just pull the trigger. So yeah, that's something I will see men and women struggle with. And it's just sad. Like, 'cause sometimes I'll see like beautiful men and women like all the time in the Polynesian, and they think they're, like you said, think they're ugly. I'm like, what?
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, so like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're nothing is wrong with you. So that's why I feel like we definitely have to support and appreciate one another, and allow people. And like you said, like we have to. I think these are things we need to start teaching early, like in the beginning. In the beginning, like as soon as they have any kind of talk to them as a baby. You're beautiful. You start.
Okay.
Giving them some reaffirmations.
Exactly.
And and then that's the thing. Like, and I know sometimes our Polynesian humor can be terrible. I mean, I'm gonna lie. I have that Polynesian humor. I like, it's all, I understand it. I grew up in it. But for me, I do have awareness to know if it's hurting someone.
Right.
So we need to build that awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll joke. For me, it's all about I got to feel them out.
Right.
Sometimes they're just hard. They don't care. They're just hard.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm with somebody, my friends and family, I already know we already have a relationship, so I know where our level of humor can be.
Right. Right.
But then when I meet somebody, say if I meet a random Polynesian, like I'll try the small jokes first to feel them out a little bit. Or okay, if I see, now I see what kind of, and of course if I find out they have no humor at all, okay, then I'm just gonna stop it right there. But sometimes, and of course, I've had times like where I have to speak up to my cousins, like, hey man, we can chill out, relax, y'all, like, because I can see that person is hurt, and it's really, I can tell like they're hurt. And I'm, hey, yo, ease up, and he's, hey, yo, chill, relax, like chill, man, like, and then they're like, come on, I have to step up, and we can be uncomfortable sometimes, but as much as I love our Polynesian humor, but it can be like, it's good, but sometimes it can turn around and be the worst. I do also want to transition into, and of course, one last time to say, everybody out there, you're beautiful, you guys are loved. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And also just let you know, if anybody tells you you're ugly, I'm telling you, if anybody gives you some harsh criticism or judgment, I'm telling you, that's insecurity. I'm telling you, that is, people will always reflect on you their own insecurities they have for themselves. They try to project that on you. So people are hating on you, I'm telling you, they have this coming from their own insecurity, that they don't feel beautiful, they don't feel enough, they don't feel worthy. And that's how they make themselves validate themselves, is by tearing people down instead of building people up. So
Right.
just want to put out there, surround yourself with good people, beautiful people, but don't let anybody tell you how beautiful you are. And of course, also, I know you mentioned this in the beginning of the podcast about the hair.
Oh yes, yes.
Polish your women hair, and you have some thoughts on that?
Oh yes. I personally just feel that, so I am raised under the Tongan structure of not being able to touch my hair. We all know that, until your father passes away, the whole hair ceremony and stuff. And I do find it beautiful. I just want to tell women, okay, um, love your hair because it is yours. And I do know that there is some struggles that women face with that. If you cut your hair, you dye your hair, go ahead. I mean, do you?
Yeah.
But if under the whole thing, like I'm living with my hair, I'll tell you this, I do live up to it. I have not touched my hair since I'm up to, because I've heard people tell me that their mom told them not to cut their hair and they cut their hair and their hair never grew. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was just a Tongan curse that their mom gave them. So just love the hair that you have. I love comments I get when people are like, your hair is so long and so thick. I'm like, perks of being Tongan, period. But just embrace, like that was my whole thing, for Tongan women, is just to embrace the culture.
Yes.
Embrace it and live it to the fullest. Like there's nothing like it. There's nothing like being Tongan.
Yeah. And also, by the way, if you if you happen to lose your hair and you're bald, hey, rock that bald, girl. Rock
Right.
that bald, girl. Rock it. Or hey, get a wig. Hey, get a wig. Do what you do. Tell you, feel beautiful. Do whatever it takes to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
I do want to transition into because we did talk about self-love, self-acceptance. I do want to transition into mental health. I want to know your thoughts about mental health, also your own experiences. But I believe this is a very important topic when it comes to our generation, because I feel like this is something, number one, it's never talked about. It is viewed in a negative way, and a lot of our politicians are not educated about it to be aware when their kids or people are struggling mentally, to give them that some unconditional love and support that we need, instead of the culture of attacking and judging and criticizing people that we sadly to say happens a lot within the Polynesian community. We give, as much as we have so much love and as Polynesian people, we can be the worst critics. Oh my god. Oh my god. So can you talk about mental health? What you see within the culture, but also your own experience of dealing with mental health and finding your own salvation with yourself, trying to figure out your own emotions and feelings.
Yeah. I definitely do believe mental awareness. I do believe awareness is an important thing to know about and is something to accept. I do feel like it is brushed under the rug a lot of the times. Mental health to me can stand for things. It could be with depression, not being motivated, just continually dragging yourself and just thinking that you're not worth it all. Anxiety, it causes anxiety. All in all, for me, I've definitely had my share of anxiety. Again, going back to feeling like I can grab everything and do everything on my own. No, I cannot. And that was one of my personal dealings of causing anxiety for myself. Um, Having anxiety is not something fun to have. I am aware of, like, again, like people who are with those that have suffered with bipolarness. Like, all in all, this is something that is real. And I feel as, especially in our culture, we need to accept and not think that, again, it's no ia, just brush it under the rug. It's important. If someone is telling you that they're suffering with it, please take in consideration of listening to them, because majority of the time that's all they need is for you to hear them out and to be there for them.
Understand them. Try to create an understanding. Yeah.
And it goes back to what you and I were talking about. If you need that help, ask. You know, in the Bible it says, "Ask and thou shalt receive; knock and it shall be open to you; seek it and ye shall find." And I can't explain that enough. How that comes, that should always come into play to this day. Like, it's okay to ask for help. Do not brush under the rug. Accept the people for who they are, and be sensitive. I can't explain that enough. As Tongans, as Polynesians, I feel like a lot of times we're just really rough with things. Things like this where it's a concern. Do not be rough. Be gentle. Be sensitive, and be considerate of what the receiver is trying to explain to you, or the sender is trying to explain to you. And receive it with love, and send it back with love. Love them even more.
Yeah.
That's what you know and I just say that we just, as a Polynesian community and the Tongan community, we just need to continue to push this type of um, structure that we are putting out there of mental awareness. We just got to keep pushing it, keep pushing it, keep pushing it. It's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and that's something like I'm a big advocate for. We definitely need to. I know in the community we don't believe in it. We don't believe in it. We don't. Of course, we're very prideful, so that's why we don't believe in it.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of Polynesians. No, nothing's wrong with me. I'm good. Nothing's wrong with me.
Right. Right.
But they're like crying inside. Yeah, like be prideful. And I know and sometimes it's hard to navigate through that because talking about our feelings and emotions and affection within our parents is kind of non-existent sometimes. And a lot of the things that we struggle with, like depression, anxiety, that's something that I remember growing up for myself, I've never had to discuss. Those words never existed ever until I came to America and found out myself. Even when I did find out at school, I was like, no, that doesn't happen to me.
It wasn't much. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Even when I did learn about it, I was like, nah, that's apply to me.
Right.
Until I started having issues. And that's when I was like, oh, wait, I do suffer, and I do go into depression, and I do have my moments. So everybody out there that's watching, and that's something I'm trying to preach to everybody. We need to create this culture of understanding and listening.
Yeah.
We are so quick to judge our Polynesian people. We are so quick to judge because we have all these expectations and standards of what a Polynesian woman should be, what a Polynesian man should be. And the moment somebody falls, the moment somebody suffers, and I've heard this so many times from the Polynesian elders. They'll be like this. They'll talk about other people's kids, or they'll talk about their own kids and trash their own kids.
Right.
This girl's going, this guy's doing this, and then I'm like, have you ever talked to your kids? Have you ever talked to them? Have you ever asked them, reached out to them? What's going on? If something's going on, y'all, because apparently, if people don't intentionally put themselves in pain and struggle and in misery, like that's not something as natural as human beings we choose to do. But some people, they if they don't feel it, they find different outlets and different things to find that form of acceptance and happiness. So just want to put out there, instead of Polynesian people, like instead of trashing your kids or instead of trashing people online, whatever, like reach out with love and understanding and understand them first. Okay. I guess the last thing I just want to ask you, this is the last thing before we end it off. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to end it off with a hot topic. I want to end it with a hot topic. Okay.
All right. Give it.
So I know you follow me, and there's things been going on social media, and it's going viral. And the one thing I preach and I love, I'm trying to change the narrative when it comes upon agriculture. And that's why I have this platform, that it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to have your own mindset and to ask questions. And I've been getting a lot of back and forth now with a lot of people because, to ask questions, to question something, to have our own opinion. People saying, we should never question the culture. We should never question how things are and how our parents are and everything. And for me, like having an opinion is our agency. That's, God gave us a choice. And, I don't, and so I just want interested to hear you're saying, I remember somebody told me, you, this is, he said something like this. You can't have an opinion you can't have an opinion on something you're not educated on. That's what he told me. And I'm like, yes, I was like, yes, you can. I don't need to be educated on something. That's our agency, that we can find out the information. But just because I don't know what's happening, I'm not really I don't know something really, really well, doesn't mean I can't ask about it or have my own opinion about it. And because, we all have opinions, but doesn't mean I'm not, if I have an opinion against what my parents say, doesn't mean my opinion is invalid, because sometimes my parents can be wrong sometimes society can be wrong, situations can be wrong. So I just want to ask you, that's the last question I want to ask you before we end this podcast, is what are your thoughts on having an opinion and asking questions, especially when it ties in within our culture? Because that's something that's been going on right now, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. The only words that come to my mind for that is just not to be afraid to have questions.
Yeah.
Not to express yourself.
Yeah.
And not to be afraid to ask for a repeat to understand, I do want to say that, again, I love our culture so much, and there's so much to live up to. I know there's a lot of responsibilities just being Tongan.
Yeah.
But with that as well, it's okay to have a question for it, asking, like, why and why is it like this? And I feel that if you don't know, then you should know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no reason to walk blindly in things.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers that. That's
yes. And this is what's great about having healthy discussions, where if somebody doesn't know, then let's provide them information. Let's educate them. Let's help them. Let's uplift them, and not judge them, not criticize them, not attack them.
Yes.
Right. And that's one thing. That's why I have this platform. And go ahead. Yep.
Sorry. Just to go along with what you said, Will, like, I think a lot of people need to understand with healthy communication goes along with the tone that you're using.
Yes.
That you choose.
Yes.
And already having in mind to accept whatever is going to be received on the other end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's okay. It's okay to have a disagreement, but the disagreement only becomes wrong when, again, the attack, the words.
Yeah, you're trying to belittle somebody.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, and this is like, for me, that's what I always want to say to my Polynesian people. Okay, if somebody comes to me and they ask a question, or they ask a question, even though I'm more educated, even though I know the answer, I'm gonna show them the same love and respect I would show anybody else. Just because I know the answer, just because you're educated, doesn't mean you can say anything or mistreat people how you see fit. And that's the culture of our Polynesian. Because I'm older than you, I'm just gonna say to you however I want to say it, whether it's yelling, whether it's attacking, and that's why we're all divided. Everybody's families are divided, kids are divided, our culture is divided, and our generations is starting to divide because of the lack of understanding, like you said, communication. That we have to come together. My whole purpose of this is to create a free platform people can speak, and we can come and have healthy discussions, and we can figure out solutions to bring us together, not drive us apart. Yeah. So thank you for sharing and thoughts. And if you watch Polynesians, everybody has an opinion. You have people. It's funny. It's like opinions should not be allowed. It was like the fact that you just shared to me your opinion right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion, and I'm sure we've all had an opinion where we question something our parents gave us, or we all had. It's natural. That's our agency. That's what God blessed us with, and I feel like that's something that we need to make sure we allow. As much as we love the culture, it is okay to ask questions about it, to teach ourselves, to teach each other,
Yeah.
and also improve things.
Yes.
Improve things. All right. So that's it. I think we've come to the end. Daisy, thank you so much. Had a
Thank
really great podcast.
you.
I really enjoyed it. We had some great conversations.
Yeah. It was an honor.
um,
Well, thank you.
yeah. So I guess the last thing I just want to say before we end it, can you just share some final thoughts, everybody? Quick words of wisdom. After everything you've gone through your life, can you just share some final thoughts, and we can end it off the podcast with that.
Definitely. Just want to thank you, Will, for this opportunity to be on your podcast. It's such an honor. I've seen so many people, wonderful individuals before me, and I can't wait to hear the many after. I just want to express my love and just gratitude to our God. And I just want to tell everyone that one, you are not alone. Two, you are worth it. And three, you are loved. And if there's any time that you felt you didn't deserve life, please, please, please remember that there is someone that died for you. And his name is Jesus Christ. And if you put your mind into it, I promise you, you will make it. Don't let anybody discourage you. And follow me on Instagram, period. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
there underscore Daisy Baby with 4 Y's underscore and support small businesses. Shop with Cicely Styles. Use my discount code Daisy10 for 10% off. And don't forget to say hi. Thank you again, Will.
No problem. Thank you so much. And thank you all. Have a great day. I'm going to press the stop button and we'll talk to you right after.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.